Welcome to the Baseball Insiders. Happy Monday. I'm Adam Weinrib, joined as always by FanSided's MLB insider Robert Murray. The Texas Rangers made the changes we thought they might on the last show, so now we get to talk about them again because they happened. Plus, which surprise teams we believe in the most, and a little bit from Robert's notebook, all that and more, plus your questions on today's episode. Robert Murray, how are you doing, man?
Hey, it's good to be here. It feels good. We got the weekend to recharge, all sorts of good stuff. I'm still in my poorly lit basement here in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin, so I apologize for that, everybody. But I'm excited to talk ball. We have some stuff that's happened, some stuff that I'm going to admit that I was an idiot for. Adam knows exactly what I'm referring to on that. But it's good to be here. Adam, how you doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Welcome to the show, everybody. Again, if you are joining us for the first time on YouTube, we welcome you. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3:30 Eastern on Monday and Friday, and 1 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday. We're also here on Tuesday afternoon at noon Eastern for the Prospect Show with Eric Cole and myself. So if you're here for the first time, turn on those notifications. We'll let you know when we are live. If you're on the audio feed, you're welcome to join us there as well. We are on all your favorite podcast platforms. Join us in the Discord. That's how you can ask Robert and I questions between shows, and also Eric prospect questions between shows. Lots of fun perks there for the All-Stars. Robert does a private Q&A in the Rumor Mill tier on Thursday afternoons at 3 o'clock Eastern time. You don't want to miss that. If you want more content, and why wouldn't you, subscribe to the Moonshot, our weekly baseball email newsletter, where the FanSided MLB team, including Robert Murray, break down all the biggest stories in the big leagues with humor, insight, behind-the-scenes info. That's also available on the Baseball Insiders feed on fansided.com, fansided.com/baseball-insiders, where you get Robert's rumors and notes, humor, and insight from yours truly, and the best of baseball and pop culture from the rest of the excellent FanSided MLB staff writers. So check that out. Okay, before we dive into a few surprise teams and whether we believe in their Aprils and early Mays or not, we do have to talk about the changes in Texas. Last show, we talked about, hey, is it too soon to press the panic button? Should the panic button even be opened or dusted off? Are we getting close? How close are we getting? Donnie Ecker yesterday, the dismissal becomes official, gone, and Leody Taveras knocked off the roster as well, sent down to waivers. The Rangers, at the time of offensive coordinator, not hitting coach, but offensive coordinator, Donnie Ecker's firing, they were 25th in average, 27th in OPS, and 29th in runs scored. We thought that he might be the sacrificial lamb for a team that is hanging in there, is treading water, but was thought before the season to be the best offense in the American League, potentially, and is sort of just lingered. So curious as to your thoughts on this move. You were quick to this one, and this does not come as a huge surprise to you, given the fact that we thought this might be around the corner last time we talked.
Yeah, that when I mentioned his name in the last show, that was more informed speculation than anything. I had heard rumblings about Ecker possibly being on thin ice for quite some time now, and especially with Chris Young going out and saying that they were going to make changes, that things needed to be shooken up a little bit. They obviously did that with Jake Berger, but they were not going to be done there. And moving on from Donnie Ecker was the latest thing that they were going to do there in Texas, and they needed to shake things up quite a bit because their offense this year has been a real struggle. They have plenty of good pieces there, and it's just not come together. And I think the guy that comes to mind immediately is Jock Peterson. He obviously is he's a proven veteran player, and he's really struggled in Texas. And with him and plenty of these other guys, they needed to make a change. They did it. We'll see if this ultimately ends up making a big difference for them, because honestly, they need. I don't know if a coaching change is going to be necessarily what fix it. Maybe getting sent down is what Jake Berger needs just to reset, as they're phrasing it there in Texas. But they need to figure this out quick, because that division is absolutely there for the taking. And it's got teams like the A's, like the Mariners. It's giving them life, at least early on. So we'll see. But that move came as no surprise here whatsoever.
I think I'm just most shocked by what, honestly, specifically, Jock Peterson's a great call out, but I don't know how we got to where we are now on Evan Carter, especially after what I saw during the 2023 playoff run, where it felt like not only have they uncovered a star in the moment, someone who's going to help buoy them on their trajectory towards ultimately a World Series, but felt like one of the brightest young stars in the game, potentially. Like, if this is what I'm getting right off the bat, then what am I going to get next year and beyond? And he's not even really hitting at AAA right now. And I'm not certain, we're finally getting the Wyatt Langford that we envisioned after he was sort of up and down last year and the numbers at the end looked fine, but it was almost an Anthony Volpe rookie season. He has taken the year 2 leap, and Evan Carter has sort of fallen off the map, and the Rangers lineup is a lot less complete without him. Now the natural question, we talked about a lot of teams, we talked about a lot of panic buttons on Friday. So we have many fan bases that are sort of on edge and watching what the Rangers are doing, saying, okay, what about me? Me next, or what's going on? Are any other teams considering any sort of coaching staff changes or overhauls, similar fashion that you're got your eyes on throughout the league right now?
I don't know if this team is necessarily considering it, but I feel like the Pirates got to be listed with the teams that could possibly make a change. And it's not necessarily like it could be like a hitting coach, because they just hired the hitting coach this offseason. So he would be a guy that would be on good standing there. Pitching coach wouldn't be enough because they're pitching. They got plenty of pieces there. It would make you think that maybe a guy like Derek Shelton could end up being the scapegoat there, the guy that ends up getting fired mid-season. And especially with the struggles there in Pittsburgh and just how tense things are within that organization, that things are in a bad place with Pittsburgh. They should not be with a payroll this low. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. But with a payroll this low, especially when you have Skeens, when you have Jared Jones, obviously he's not like healthy right now, but you have Bubba Chandler looming in the minors. You have all these young pitchers who are on really cheap salaries. Now is the time to go out and invest in the offense, and they didn't. And odds are that Derek Shelton's probably going to be in the scapegoat there. But I want to go back to the Rangers for a second, because we mentioned Evan Carter and possibly him coming up, even though he's not necessarily mashing in AAA. The name that I'm keeping an eye on, and I don't know if he's under actual consideration to be called up, but it would be an aggressive one. It would be Alejandro Osuna. He's in AA. He's mashing. He's been playing really well there in that minor league system, and I wonder if that team, because right now they're desperate. Like, you don't fire an offensive coordinator. You don't demote Jake Berger unless you're desperate, and he's been mashing in AA. And I wonder if Osuna can end up being a guy that they try to call up. So we'll see. But I at least wanted to be on the record with that one and just be like, keep an eye on him.
Interesting, I say. Yeah, Evan Carter playing better as of late. Couple of offers lately, dragged the numbers back down. But on the whole, I'm not looking for a 220 hitter with a couple homers at AAA. I'm looking for him to be so much more than that. And there's a reason I believed in him as a rookie of the year front runner last year. I've seen spurts, like the comments are noting. He's been hot lately, and that's fine. And I'd rather he be hot than ice cold, but still not where I need him to be. And it's sort of the number one most confusing player in that system that I've followed in recent years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, I just wanted to say, yeah. Sorry, I was audibly like, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, here. No, sorry, I was transitioning, but now I will transition again, and that's how we do it. You mentioned in the Rangers opening the door to a couple other AL West teams. That door is still open for the Rangers. That door is still open for the Astros. But when you're talking about surprises, you can't really get out of the AL West to start. I wonder how you feel about the Mariners early. The Torpedo Bat Mariners, who are 20-13, who are leading that division, and who are doing it on offense. The pitching has been less than stellar. You've got George Kirby on the shelf. You've got Emerson Hancock playing a prominent role. Most of the names you expected to hold down the fort for the Mariners in the rotation. Does anybody have a better 5-man unit than this? We haven't even seen it, but the bats are carrying the day. The Mariners have been so much more electric offensively than I think anybody expected. How sold are you on the Mariners, who I don't know if they still do, but they had a higher team WRC plus than the Dodgers a couple of days ago?
Who would have seen that coming? Not me. And I'm still skeptical of the Mariners, if I'm being real. They're leading that division. They've been performing really well, and the offense has been really good. But if you look at what their roster was last year and compared to this year, especially on offense, it's really not that much different. And they did not invest that many resources into the offense this offseason. So to me, I'm skeptical that this is going to be sustainable, at least on offense. Pitching, I expect them to turn it around, because right now The run differential is plus 29. And what's really interesting here is the A's, they're 19 and 16 in that division, and their run differential is minus 22, which you wonder how sustainable that is, especially with them. I mean, well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see there, but the Mariners, skeptical. I need them to at least invest some decent resources at the trade deadline into that offense. I don't know if the ownership will really allow it there, but I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it when it comes to them.
I hear you there, and I do feel like, hey, a little bit less sketchy than perhaps those A's. But I wanted to mention the Athletics too, because it's Mariners and A's atop the division, as we all expected. And the run differential not there for Sacramento. And the roster, looks like a classic, spunky, plucky roster that's maybe playing a little over its skis in the early going and comes back down to earth. But you got to give them credit for calling up player after player who we all said, oh, they're not going to call up Nick Kurtz. Like, this is early in their run. They've got a 5-year plan. They're going to let him mash for a while. Why start the service time clock? And there he is, right? Gunnar Hoagland. And why are they going to call up a pitcher who's dominating in the minors when they could just hold off? They've already got the pitching depth. They've got JP Sears. No, they press that button too. Jacob Wilson has been fantastic. They lose a heartbreaker in Miami over the weekend on a Kyle Stowers grand slam. But other than that, you've got the A's looking not only like they can compete in this open division, but that they're motivated to keep calling up talent when talent presents itself. So not saying I buy them as a contender or a playoff team, but I have been impressed with the number of times already they've been presented with the option of make a decision with a prospect who's forcing the issue or kick it down the road. And they have chosen, okay, let's bring up the talent over and over again.
Absolutely. And I love what they're doing. And very, very, very rare you ever hear any of us say that about the Oakland A's or the Sacramento A's. It's going to take a while for me to get used to this. But they're aggressive. They spent money this offseason. They have an infusion of young talent. They extended Brent Rooker. They actually have what appears to be a plan, and a good one at that. And they're spending, and I would expect them to spend more money this offseason. And it was really cool to hear the different names that they were considering in the offseason as well. Because it was in addition to Luis Severino, they were considering some pretty legit pitching names. Obviously didn't get them, but they were poking around on some pretty decent sized fish there. But they're spending, they're in second place in that division. They have a good plan. I like their leadership in place as well. I'm a huge believer in Mark Kotsay and the job that he's done there. So I'm buying stock in the A's at least long term. This year we'll see. Especially with that run differential, it's a little scary. But I like that. I like what they're building there.
Did the Rangers just call up Evan Carter, as our comments are noting, by the way? They might be watching this live podcast.
Yeah, they intend to recall Evan Carter. It's not been done, but they are going to, yes.
There you go. Evan Grant. Yeah, 37 seconds ago, I see it. Well, shout out to our comment section, which is always on it. Like I said earlier, they should absolutely call up Evan Carter. He's a fully formed product, and they're going to get an immediate impact. No, hey, I'm into it. I think he's somebody who I've always believed in. Chris Young just said he's passed all the tests we've wanted to see. We're excited about where Evan is. So, hey, shout out. Boots on the ground likes what they see. I want Carter to get another chance, and hopefully he continues thriving as he has in more recent weeks versus the struggles he displayed last season and to start the year. I want to also give credit in this segment to the Detroit Tigers, who, coming out of last year, we all wondered, especially in the offseason, are they ready to go into the mode where, hey, devil may care, let's go get Alex Bregman, let's finish this off, let's be World Series contenders next year? Or are they sort of going to tread water and sign these, 1 to 2 year deals, solid veterans, but Gleyber Torres is looking for a bounce back. He's going to sign this 1-year deal in Detroit. And they took what I would maybe call half measures, and then they come out and just take the league by storm to start the year and remind everybody, oh, wait, Chris Fetter is one of the best pitching coaches in baseball. Oh, wait, we go 4 or 5 deep in the rotation. And any given night, Trey Sweeney can just, Kerry Carpenter could destroy you and drive in 6-7 runs. I have been impressed with the Tigers not only looking like a playoff team, which I predicted they would be a playoff team. Didn't take a genius to predict that. But they look more like a bona fide top of the American League contender than I thought they would. How much you buying into what they've done so far?
I am buying into it a lot. I really want to know what this roster would have looked like if they had Alex Bregman. I really do. It's sad that they don't, but what they have here is something that's really, really, really good. And their run differential. I'm big at run differential today, but it's in the plus 60 range. And they're pitching obviously with Chris Fetter, Robin Lund. Let's not forget that name either. I'm going to continue to mention his name on the podcast as much as I possibly can. They have tremendous leadership there. They have young talent all across that roster. I am a big believer in them, and I'm even going to go on the record with this now. I actually could see the Tigers representing the American League in the World Series. I think they're that good. I'm a huge believer in what they're building. AJ Hinch, I'm a huge fan of his. I mean, what's not to like about the Detroit Tigers? And I would expect them to be aggressive at the deadline as well. And they're not going to be in a position where they end up selling a Flaherty or a Lorenzen piece by any means. I'd expect them to go fishing. And if they had money for Bregman, maybe they have money for a big fish there as well.
It's good to see teams that do have money. And I agree with you. The American League, Jeff Passan made it pretty plain in his piece last week that he would rank a large number of NL teams above any American League team. And I'm still there as well. But there's no shame in being the most likely team to represent your league in the Fall Classic. And I think that, yeah, right now the Tigers are probably on paper the likeliest American League team to do that, given that no one else has distinguished themselves. I would also say that they're the likeliest. They're the likeliest AL favorite in May in a while to fall off of that pedestal by the midsummer or the end of the trade deadline. Like, I'm not sold on that still being the case 2-3 months from now, but I am very impressed with what they've done so far. And I'm going to add another surprise to this segment because of some questions we've gotten. I left the Giants out originally just because I know you've talked up the Giants plenty in the recent past, but they do deserve love on this podcast too. And they do bring back Kyle Harrison this week to add to their stable of arms. So what say you about Harrison's potential impact this time around and the way that you view the Giants in that horrifically good NL West entering the middle of May?
Yeah, Harrison, they're optimistic about what he's become in the minors to start the season. And it was a tough decision for them to put him in the minors to start the year. But they needed him to work on some things. And the things that he ended up working on got his velocity back into the 97 to 98 range. And that is a really good place for Kyle Harrison to be. And he's going to pitch out of the bullpen there because there's really no spot in the rotation for him. And the rotation's also in a good spot too. They've got some real arms there. And wouldn't you know it, the Giants are built on pitching and defense this year. And they got, yeah, I know, Adam, I'm shocked too. Who could have seen that coming? But I really like what Bob Melvin's done there. They got a good foundation in place. I think they're hitting. It's getting better, especially with Willy Adames starting to pick up form. He had 2 home runs yesterday, almost had 3. I think his third one ended up hitting off the top of the wall in center field. So he almost hit 3, but he's going to end up being the piece that makes that offense go, along with Jung-Hoo Lee. But love what they're doing, and I think Harrison's going to be really good there.
Yeah, I'm excited every team that adds talent like that. It's the luxury of hot start. Okay, great. How can we keep this momentum going? I guess we'll call up a former top 10 prospect and just run him out there every day, every couple of days out of the bullpen. Very much have enjoyed what I've seen from the San Francisco Giants so far. I'll
also say this is a really important stint for Kyle Harrison, because if it doesn't work now, then I'm not sure when it's going to work. And if he makes it work, that team becomes infinitely more dangerous, because you have a guy who's capable of pitching a lot of innings out of the bullpen, or even shifting to the rotation if that calls for it.
Yeah. And every team needs, you're not going to get through a season with 5-6 starters, even if you are a team like the Giants right now, who doesn't have a spot in the rotation available, but we've heard that plenty before, and that spot has opened up for many other teams. So Kyle Harrison, if he does perform, will probably get another rotation shot at some point. Shout out to the comments as well for mentioning the Chicago White Sox, mentioning Edgar Guerrero, and mentioning Chase Meadroff. The White Sox had a fun series this weekend against the Houston Astros, and I'm not going to go ahead and get on this podcast and say they have turned the same corner that these other surprise teams have, but I saw Edgar Guerrero bat flipping a walk. Like, I saw the rallying against the Astros, and they went basically one Jake Myers explosion away from potentially sweeping Houston in Chicago after launching those City Connects. So thoughts on maybe some White Sox progress in recent weeks too.
It feels good to like talk about the White Sox and actually feel positive about what you're saying, because we've had very, very, very little of that on this podcast for the last year plus.
Yeah.
But Edgar Cuero, really liking what I'm seeing there from him. He's hitting well above 300 right now. Obviously, limited sample size for sure, but you can actually see what they were hoping to build there in Chicago. You got those two guys. You also have all these prospects in the minors that are coming from that trade with Boston, from some of these other teams as well. The Cuero and Kyle Teal thing, that's going to be a very real. That's a tough thing for the White Sox. It's a good problem to have, but you have an embarrassment of riches there at the catcher position. So we'll see ultimately what ends up happening. But like they have hope. They have a reason why. Like, okay, yeah, let's go to the game let's go to the game today. Maybe spend $5 on a ticket, because we want to see these guys who are going to be in part of the team for the next 5-10 seasons. So, we're actually talking positive about the White Sox today. Who saw that coming at them?
I had a great experience there last year. Good beer selection, and so I'm never going to turn down a ticket. I'm going to go. But hey, White Sox fans who went through it last year and went through it to start April, the Rockies are a tier below you, and your future is looking brighter every day. And the White Sox, like the A's, are using these talented pieces early. So maybe it's not May 5th, but maybe by midsummer, you go into pretty much every series feeling like we're going to put up a fight. And that's really all you can hope for at this stage of the game.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know how much of a fight the White Sox are necessarily going to put up here. But they have hope, and maybe they can win above 50 games this season. I don't know. But I mean, that'd be at least nice. I don't know who's going to win. Actually, Adam, genuine question here: who wins more games, the White Sox or the Rockies?
I think the White Sox are better than the Rockies at the end of year. I haven't seen the Rockies play a card that worked in like 2-3 years. I was depressed by the Zach Veen call up and demotion. I've been depressed by pretty much every time they've tried to showcase some of their premium minor league talent. Depressed by Charlie Condon. So I'm pretty much off the Rockies train at this point. I would pick the White Sox. I would pick the White Sox by like at least 7 games in the head-to-head.
Whoa. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, I have one Rockies thought, and Jacob Stallings is obviously he's a veteran catcher. I saw so much frustration from him behind the plate when they were playing the Giants this past weekend. He looked visibly really irritated. I can't blame him, because the strike zone that day was not good, but playing for that franchise has to be just one of the most brutal experiences in anyone's history for baseball. Like, that's bad. That's really bad.
It's a beautiful city,
Yeah.
Living in Denver, it could be worse. It could be tough to breathe sometimes, not just because you're smelling the fumes from the Rockies, but I don't have a lot of faith in what's going on there in the whole program. And sorry to Rockies fans who I don't think are watching this show, but if you are, I would love to speak better about the Rockies at some point. I would love to go see the Hartford Yard Goats. Looks like a beautiful local stadium. It's on my list this year. Maybe I get there. But tough stuff to anybody who's got to go up to the next level with the Colorado Rockies. And the Yard Goats do play in the AA Eastern League. There's a new 19-year-old star in the AA Eastern League in the Yankees system. Robert Murray, why did you not get the George Lombard Jr. promotion scoop? What happened there?
So let me eat some crow here. So I found out about the George Lombard Jr., him being promoted to AA, and I texted Adam last night, saying, is it out there that he got promoted to AA? And he said, ooh, no, it's not, but that's good to know.
Actually did say, ooh. I literally do text the word OOOH sometimes, and I did respond with that. Yeah,
he did. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to report that, because it doesn't seem like something I would necessarily report. And all of a sudden I go and I'm eating dinner, and next thing I know, I get the Jeff Passan tweet notification that George Lombard Jr. had been promoted to AA. That was probably 45 minutes? Would you say, give or take?
I was sitting down at dinner when it started. I went out for dinner last night, and I was still at the table when I got the Passan tweet. So yeah, it was in the span of 30 to 40.
Yeah, that was not good. I was like, but that's why I had to admit that I'm an idiot, because I should have tweeted it. In hindsight, that was a mistake by me. But when he gets promoted to AAA, you better believe that I'm going to be the one to drop it. But maybe even skips AAA. Who knows? But I am now determined to be breaking that story and not let Jeff Passan have it. So Jeff Passan, if you're seeing this, I let you have that one. You're welcome. But no, in reality, I'm actually an idiot. So good job by Jeff for reporting it, because Lord knows I'm stupid enough that I did not. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all.
You avoided passing out a little bit of backlash, though, for just reporting a double-A promotion, though, because you did have a couple of fans thinking the Yankees were calling him up. Anthony Volpe got hurt over the weekend. So you see Passan tweeting a prospect's name. You sort of assume he's getting a crazy bump all the way to the majors. And he's just a 19-year-old going from high A to double A. It's a big step, but no, he's not going to the bigs. Yeah, I think that's the one silver lining.
Yeah, for sure. And there was another one too. It was over the weekend. I had found out that Hai-Sung Kim with the Dodgers, he was meeting the team in Atlanta. And this was before that Dodgers blogger tweeted it. And good job by him. Like, that guy, he got it fair and square. But I had the scoop that he was meeting the team in Atlanta, but I was not sure that he was ultimately being called up. And I had the debate about it. I asked some people in baseball who are reporters. I was like, hey, like, I got this. Well, like, what would you do? And they were like, yeah, sit on it until you can end up getting it confirmed. Well, lo and behold, I got scooped on it. But there's been two of them that I've had that I've I don't know, I waited or just decided not to tweet. So that was I'm 0 for 2 on those, but at least I got the Brooks Raley terms today. So that was good. I got my vengeance on Brooks Raley. So thank you for that, Twitter world.
Brooks, shout out. Andrew Lee asking where I went to dinner last night, I think, or just where did I go? Did my video feed cut out? I had a good dinner downtown Jersey City, but will I check out the Padres Yankees this week? That is up to the weather gods. I am supposed to be there tonight. I don't think there should be a game played today. I think it's disgusting out in New York City, but if there is, I'll be there to watch Nick Pivetta absolutely shove, I assume. But until, we will be back on the air on Wednesday here on the Baseball Insiders feed with Robert, 1 o'clock Eastern. We'll talk about what we see. Friday, 3:30, private Q&A on Thursday afternoon at 3. Please join us in the Discord. Rumor Mill tier. We're also putting out some great all-star exclusive content on the YouTube channel. So make sure to check that out as the videos come. It's just for you folks, the all-star members. We're restricting it. So big ups to all of you all. Thank you for riding with us all the way. We're getting into Rumor Mill season. Right? May is almost June, is almost July. It's when we shine. So thanks for joining us for the start of the season. We're getting to the good stuff. We'll also be here on the Prospect Show tomorrow afternoon, noon Eastern, with Eric Cole. Also always a good time. Robert, anything else in the notebook you want to unleash?
Not quite yet. We're still working on some things behind the scenes. Nothing that I'm able to speak on quite yet, but there's stuff that I'm indeed working on. But the Rangers, that is one thing I can say, is the Rangers are indeed close to hiring a hitting coach. Nothing finalized yet, but they are getting kind of closer. So that is one thing to watch for in the coming day or so, I would think. But other than that, the notebook, at least for now, is empty.
We'll see what it looks like on Wednesday. Until then, go New York Knicks. Try to at least be competitive against the Boston Celtics. If you feel like it, you're probably getting swept, but try your hardest. That's all we can ask for in this crazy game that we call life. For Robert Murray, I'm Adam Weinrib. We will catch you again noon tomorrow for the Prospect Show, 1 o'clock Eastern, back here with Robert on Wednesday afternoon. Until then, everybody, take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here on the Baseball Insiders.
No, we will. Thank you, everybody.